Hello, family. Welcome to my fourth installment for the best interactive videos alive. I'm just kidding, but I'm not. But for real, we're diving deep into a topic that hits close to home for many of us. You know what it is. Yep, it's trauma. The drama with trauma. Man, it's a heavy subject, but one that needs to be talked about. And in some of my comments on my interactive videos about anger, trauma came up, which sparked my interest in going deeper. Now, if you choose to proceed with watching all of the 7 interactive videos in this series, I recommend having a support system in place or reaching out to someone you trust if you need assistance or someone to talk to after watching all of the videos. So, if you are ready, let's dive in together and make it happen. Oh yeah, before I forget, if you want to unlock a world of wisdom and knowledge in a simple way, all you have to do is join the inner circle of subscribers by subscribing and staying in the loop by hitting the notification bell so you can go on every journey with your ConscienSiS. Plus, join the conversation by dropping a comment. Yeah, connect with me. I'll be up in there. And also, please spread the love and hit the like button and share our sibling wisdom. We're family, you my kinfolk, and we should stick together. You know what I mean. So as your sis, I'm telling you, get cozy and let's get into it. Whew. Okay. Trauma is like the permanent paint upon our canvas that totally alters our landscape of existence, changing our physical and psychological parts. It is the breakable balance of the soul being broken, leaving our canvases tears and pieces of grief, fear, and vulnerability behind. Picture it. Or, you know what? Just imagine your soul as this fragile glass, and when it shatters, it leaves behind these tiny pieces of sorrow, worry, and defenselessness. Trauma can be like an unexpected storm or a tornado, sweeping through our lives, leaving destruction in its wake, wreaking havoc on all of our surroundings. It can sometimes distort our sense of things, especially our security or trust in life or just in people. I know you are asking, well, sis, how can it do that? Well, I'll tell you. By whispering eerie echoes of early agony. Yeah. Like bringing up old stuff, going into experiences that traumatized you. It's intense and it's unpredictable. And sometimes you don't even know it's there. Your trauma responses come out of nowhere and leave you depleted with more questions than answers. So, that is what I feel trauma is. Now, the Google definition says that it is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. It is a lasting emotional response often resulted from a painful event. I think I said something like that, right? I believe I did. My definition was close. What you think? But yeah, do you think we are ready to understand trauma a little bit more so that we can become better aware of when or if we ever have to face it? Okay, before we do, let's take our breathing break. So, I would like to take this opportunity to just say, think about what trauma you may have encountered. Now, let me pause right here to say, if you are in a place where you're not ready to dive into those memories, or if you don't have a support system or resources to handle those memories, it's totally okay to take a step back. I don't want any of you going down a destructive path, especially not right now, because I'm not physically there to help you get through it, right? I mean, I do one-on-one sessions with individuals, but again, Listen, please take a step back if you need to. Okay? Now, if you're up for it, let's reflect on a moment or moments that left you feeling traumatized. And as you ponder this, I want to share a nugget of information with you, okay? So, trauma is not limited in time or space. It can result from a single traumatic event or build up over time. It can manifest in many different forms, like physical, emotional, or psychological abuse, neglect, violence, accidents, natural disasters, or witnessing horrific events. Basically, it's your physical to your mental, to your emotional, to your spiritual, to your natural, to you experiencing awful events. These things I will go over in another video, but I just want to give you a little of how trauma is super important to understand. And I dare to say that the impact of it is subjective and unique to each individual, as it depends on your personal history with trauma. It's a complex and tricky phenomenon to explain, but for now, I ask, do you suspect that any repressed trauma lurks within you? Feel free to share your views and opinions in the space provided. I really appreciate it. I think we might have some interesting conversations. Let's pause for a moment and control our breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So, let's check the stats out real quick. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 70% of individuals worldwide have experienced at least one traumatic event in their lifetime. Oh yeah, and remember, in my previous video called Pathway 1, My Anger, My Problem, when I introduced the Adverse Childhood Experiences A study, they even found that in the United States that nearly 2/3 of people reported experiencing at least one adverse childhood experience, such as abuse, neglect, or family discord like household dysfunction, bringing on childhood trauma as well. Not to mention PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Around 7 to 8% of the general population, they say, they will experience PTSD at some point in their lives. And I will discuss PTSD in greater depth in a later video. Don't worry, I'm going to come with it and I will go further into what it is. Yo, sis got you. I got your back. But for now, it is crucial that I remind you that traumatic experiences are not always the result of external occurrences, but can instead be a profoundly internalized wound that resounds through every facet of our existence. It's like trauma can rupture our spirit like no other. And it's unfortunate because it can leave an imprint on our thoughts, our feelings, our habits, and most importantly, our relationships as children, disrupting the delicate balance of mind, body, and soul as we age. And this can result in a wide variety of symptoms like reoccurring nightmares, flashbacks, heightened alertness, avoidance, paranoia, dissociation, anxiety, despair, and a strong feeling of isolation. Personally, it caused me to stop trusting other people and had me making irrational assumptions about the world. Sometimes I still get like that, I must say. It left me with a pervasive feeling of being trapped in the past, ignoring the present, and scared of my future. It really made me feel like that, which made me uncomfortable on many occasions. But with all of that, it did make me come from ashes to beauty once I became aware of how much it gripped my life. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I opted to study psychology because I was clearly having dysfunction running through my veins, and I was sick of the toll that pessimism was taking on my mind. So I took action and did something about it, and I also went through a traumatic event that suddenly just stopped my whole entire life. So I had to focus my energy on something. So I went back to school and got that good old education, understanding psychology and some social work. I want you, as my fam, to do the same too. Not necessarily going to school, but to start becoming wiser in the emotional and behavioral fields. We need to know more about who we are and why we do the things we do. That's all. Now, I want to add that these stats are just a broad overview, and the numbers and effects of people experiencing trauma can be different across different cultures, populations, and regions. Now, let me get back to the topic. Basically, I am saying that post-traumatic stress disorder is when a person is exposed to a traumatic event like death or threatened death, severe injury, or SEXUAL violation. Yeah, I had to spell it for y'all. Y'all know YouTube. And if you suffer from reoccurring, uncontrollable, distressing memories, you may have to go check that out. And not to mention the symptoms of distressing past events influencing reoccurring nightmares. You know, traumatic flashbacks and other dissociative episodes. Even extremely distressed when reminded of the traumatic event or events, manifesting these feelings physically can be something that you're dealing with. A person will also avoid stimuli associated with the trauma indefinitely, and there are unfavorable shifts in thinking and feeling as a result of the trauma, such as being unable to recall important details of the event or having destructive emotions over and over again. And a person can display changes in arousal and reactivity, such as their level of excessive alertness, extreme startle responses, or sleep disturbances. People with PTSD can really undergo noticeable shifts. And finally, when a person's symptoms persist for more than a month, causing them severe anguish or impairment, it's a good chance that something needs to be addressed. But sometimes PTSD can hit any one of us at any given time. And although not good, trauma can hold the potential, wait for it, for healing, growth, and resilience. How y'all feel about that? It's not good, but it can help. But this only comes when we go through the process of acknowledging, understanding, and maturing in our responses to our traumas. Because even in the depths of this gloom, it compels us to face our deepest wounds, our shattered selves, and our scars. So could we say that certain trauma can be both a blessing and a curse? Well, I will leave that up to you. But what I can say is that it pushes us to our limits. It forces us to confront our darkest moments, making it peculiar and paradoxical all at the same time. Now, let's recap. We spoke about how trauma changes our very existence, which can leave us broken and unbalanced in life. We defined it and became more aware of its effects. We also discussed how it manifests in many different forms, which can go unnoticed. We checked the statistics and pondered on if trauma can be seen as a blessing and curse. That's a little deep. So with me breaking down all of this, I think we spoke on a lot, and I believe that we expanded our knowledge on this topic in this video. And right now, your sis will provide you with 2 options to direct your pathway to progress. Will it be pathway 1, the 3 types of traumas, or pathway 2, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD deep dive? Choose a pathway that will benefit you, and if you think both paths are interesting, you can always come back and choose the other pathway as well. I'll see you on the other side. Don't take too long. YouTube only gives you 20 seconds to decide, so hurry.